any other type of composition, you know who you're composing for and what the strengths and weaknesses are, and so you have to compose to that. I mean, this is another thing about the instrument choice, is that the marimba is it's a constant velocity short note, right? And so then the wine glasses give you the sustained notes, so you can have held chords in the background. And then the drums give you dynamics. So even though the wine glasses and the marimba don't have dynamics, there's some dynamics in the drums, and by using dynamics in the drums, you can sort of make the whole
Mask the whole thing.
yeah, make the whole
Feels
thing
like it's
feel
like-
like it has more dynamics than it actually is.
One of the most critical things in the development path is that you got to test the accuracy. How do you test, if you drop 1,000 balls, like what is the actual variance? So we were trying to test this by, dipping the balls in different stuff and having it leave paint imprints and things like that. And then randomly one ball in the shop kind of bounced into a corner and onto a dresser that hadn't been touched in 5 years and was super dusty, and there was this perfect clean circle where there was no dust where the ball had picked it up off of it. So we started covering all the keys with powdered sugar, and that would be how we did all our accuracy testing, because it would just pull the sugar off. So this will be, it's fine. Yeah. This was not a great day, but it shows the idea.
For the people in the physical space with the machine, how do they experience it if they're online users composing in real time? Does it play from an archive or?
So, well, there's a computer in the physical space, so they can, if no one's on it, they can do it. But otherwise, they also can see the website, and the website will say who's currently logged in. So it'll say, Chris from the UK is currently logged into the machine, and then there's a physical speaker in the room. It's in front of the machine, and so the physical speaker, what comes out that physical speaker is what the person typed. So when you're in the physical space with the machine, you can hear that speaker, you know that that's what someone typed somewhere around the world, and then the machine takes that and uses it. And so we tried as best we could to create this link between the physical and the virtual, right? And of course, obviously the machine itself is a big part of that link, but in terms of having the name of the person and the country they're coming from, having the speaker in front of the machine, having the microphones in the room, ambient microphones as well as specific microphones, such that if people in the space clap or talk, the person online can actually hear them. And so.
Yeah, one of our friends came to us after using it. Well, we were in New York for a lot of the development time. One of our friends in Boston, when we talked to her after, said she used it when she played her song. There were 30 people in the space, and when it finished, everyone clapped, and she felt like she was responsible for making the track, because she was. You can hear it, and if you make a theme that's very, very recognizable, which definitely people come back and use the machine over and over and kind of practice, you can hear it everywhere. So, and one thing that someone did while we were in the space one time, we build the architecture pretty generally, so it takes any input note and it maps it through all these functions. And so we were just there one time and someone started doing polyphony and hitting chords in the theme, and it had never even come up at all. Like, it just had to cross our minds. And it worked, just because the architecture was just note for note. And that really opened the space, because if you play a little theme and then hit a chord, you can hear exactly how the rules are mutating it, because you have one change of density in your theme. You can hear, kind of pick it out from everywhere.
Did you experiment with different ball materials?
Yeah.
As far as, you can get some dynamics with that.
Like 50.
50.
Yeah, every stock ball that any place like McMaster had, we tried wood and plastic and metal, and mouse balls that are metal with rubber coating, and every different diameter of rubber that's available. We had to end up making custom. It's a balance of 4 things: size, which factors into everything. The diameter, you really want to make it big enough that it's visual, but the bigger it is, the harder it is to drop and throwing around. The resilience, which is how much it's going to bounce, because if it bounces too little, it's going to double or triple hit or roll and then dampen the whole note. If it bounces too much, you can never do anything with it. And then the hardness. And if it's too soft, it doesn't make any noise on the high register, and if it's too loud, it picks up high harmonics on every note. It sounds horrible.
You could use different barometers from low to high.
Yeah,
You could.
we definitely didn't have the time to kind of highlight different sections and make them all sound ideal. So we just had the time to develop one that would work the best.
But absolutely, absolutely. A lot of times the real players will have different sticks depending on what type of
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
room range.
Left
But
hand, very
yeah,
soft
so,
ones.
but in terms of us just making a shooter that worked, and so every shooter has to be tuned to the weight and the size of the ball, and so it was like we got one working, and we're like, that's it.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, these custom balls are like 4-week lead time.
Yeah.
So when you have a 4-month project, you know, you have to kind of guess on day 1, wait a month, make a change, wait a month, you're done. There's no second ball. But we are totally open if there's any people interested in exploring the temporal space of.
I'm thinking, but the 50 balls is funny.
Yeah, it is definitely something we have not considered coming back to. Before we moved into the large space and we were still working on the one shooter, we had to work on the ball return system, and we just set it up in my living room. Had these things running all the time. The powder tests come up really useful because we would go out to dinner and leave it running, let it run, and know, you know, it was doing one every 2 seconds, so it was 2,000 an hour, so blah, blah, blah. So we could go out for an hour and know what the variance was on 2,000 hits instead of sitting there counting for.
But most of the time we would come back and there'd be no ball, the balls would all be on the floor.
How often does it happen with the real machine as far as the balls?
About 1 in 10,000.
1 in 10,000.
Yeah, it shoots about 250,000 balls a day, so that's still 25 on the floor. So it's, you know, we have someone in there every day.
Any
Yeah, go
injuries?
through and pick up balls. What?
Rolled ankles from the.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the kids just grab them immediately in the museum space, so that kind of takes care of itself. It was definitely, you know, when we first planned this, we really wanted to just have the keys there, totally visible, not hide them at all, and have the ball bounce right off and go perfectly into a cup and revolve around. So our earlier work was assuming that we could make that happen, but the irony is that to make a key sound good, you have to mount it super loose on these strings. It has to be able to vibrate as much as possible on its nose. So anywhere the ball hits different, the key will react and it will exaggerate the angle it falls off. So we ended up needing to put these somewhat big dividers between every key, and we got this acrylic that looked like glass and tried to turn it into a design element. You know, it needed more height on the high side because the keys are smaller, they reflect more energy. So kind of turned it into a reflection of the resonator pattern, which was in a couple of the slides before.
Sort of opposite, yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of follow.
They're
each other.
higher with resonators are shorter.
Exactly. So there's like a constant distance almost between the two.
Did you totally capitalize a real marimba? I assume
We found
carve your own rosewood.
No, no. There was a company in California called Marimba One, and so we called them and we said we're building this thing, and they really were not sure what to think of us at first. But then they were, after they realized we were serious, they were great. And so we said, you know, because we don't have the white keys, black keys thing, so the angle of the screws and the separation, the angle of the string holes and the separation of the keys is very different. And because the number of notes is 42, it's not standard, they had to cut their resonators special for that. And so, but they made the keys and tuned the keys and resonators for us, so we just had to, you know, put that into our frame.
Yeah, we wanted to cannibalize a marimba, but then since the key spacing is so much bigger, the strings pull too much tension and you can't do it. So instead of a 6-2